Thanks for your company. Some LPG filling stations in Kumasi have shut down in solidarity to an indefinite nationwide strike action declared by the Ghana Liquefied Petroleum Gas Operators Association. Now, this move is to make clear the association's fierce opposition to the cylinder recirculation module, which will see consumers of LPG visit vantage spots to exchange their old and empty cylinders for newly filled ones. Government believes this module will end the phenomenon of gas explosions across the country, but the association says the module will rather shoot up cost of LPG. Nana Baosei Collins is the national organizer of the association.
Have you put out there?
The price of the product will shoot up. Ghanaians cannot afford to buy the product anymore.
Why?
For the cylinder recirculation, Ghanaians are going to pay for the product and the cylinders as well. So that cannot come. So anytime you are in need of the product and you go to the center, you have to pay the product alongside with the cylinder. So you will be paying for the cylinder. So you come to conclusion whereby you're no longer interested in using the product again.
So the prices will go up.
The price will go up.
And then what again?
And then what we have observed now is when you fill the product into the cylinders, whenever whenever the temperature goes high, the pressure in the cylinder also goes high. So in case we have a large quantity filled bottles in the truck going for distribution, you know we are in Africa, a very tropical area. The sun scorches too much. And this is whereby we are going to fill the atuab gas, a high pressure gas, into these cylinders. Ghana will soon going to be like America in war front. There's going to be explosion here and there on this deprived load. So when there is any friction, the cylinders are going to explode.
This is a huge allegation. Are you saying that the authorities haven't considered this
not considered this, man,
to be the right option for the country? Because one of the reasons they give is that it's going to address the frequent, explosions of gas filling stations.
Now, let me tell you straight. CRM cannot end explosion. It is rather going to increase it more.
And your reason?
Like I said earlier, the first cylinders in the truck going for distribution, and when the temperature goes high, the pressure also in the cylinder rises. So it's going to create explosion here and there.
And how? What is the current procedure you use to distribute yours?
Like what?
Your gas distribution. You don't also carry it around?
We carry it around, but not to the extent of going for long distance. Imagine they have their plant. What they are saying, they're going to set up some plant machines in Ghana, and it's in Kumasi. They have to transport some quantity of cylinders to, let's say, Atebubu or so. You know the distance is very long, so it can create a major incident on the way for the distribution. That's why we are saying they should listen to us. They should listen to us.
Apart from these two, what are the other reasons you decided to go on this path?
Ghanaians will very soon go back to the traditional way of cooking by going in for charcoal, and we are all protecting our forestry. So because they cannot afford the price of the product, the only option for them is to go for the charcoal, and it's going to result in cutting down the trees as well, and it's going to create unemployment. The GCMC factory is going to spend 10 years without not being in operation.
How?
The mandatory for using cylinder, I mean the domestic one, the maximum years is 10 years. So in case they implement this policy, they will need about 60 million cylinders in Ghana, because we are up to 30 million so far in population. Each person will want 2 cylinders, one at your house and the other at your retail center. It will take 10 years before this cylinder will phase out from the system. By then, what is GCMC doing, producing or manufacturing the cylinders for? They have nothing to do, so they have to stop work. Cylinder sellers in our various markets, they are also going to lose their job.
Well, we have a reaction from the NPA. I'll just read some portions of that statement to you. And it reads further to a statement by government last Friday on the declared nationwide strike by Ghana Liquefied Petroleum Gas Operators Association, GLIPGOA. The National Petroleum Authority wishes to inform members of the public on the following: that LPG MCs, that's LPG marketing companies, are not part of the strike. They are still committee members of the implementation committee, that's of the gas recirculation module. And LPG tankers drivers union are also not part of the strike and therefore standing in readiness to load all orders placed by LPG MCs. All GOIL LPG stations across the country are not part of the strike. All Hills Oil, that's market leader LPG stations across the country, are also not part of the strike. Consumers must note that government will prioritize their health, safety and security over any and all considerations, and accordingly they are to bear with the situation and look out for stations that are still in operation in solidarity with the policy. Togbi Adako and his group have made the strike a war between their safety and their profit, and we find it easier to err on the side of safety and security. Togbi Adako has been a member of the implementation committee and has not hidden his abhorrence for a policy that seeks to place safety and security above his profit motive, but he's consistently taken his certain allowances. In fact, he's currently on all his allowance, or he's current on all his allowances. We'll push this going forward, and Ghanaians are encouraged to consider resorting to other substitutes to LPG in the meantime, pending the full implementation of the cylinder recirculation module. Electricity tariffs have been reduced by government, and that should create an incentive to switch to electricity. In the meantime, the public will be informed of areas where they can locate stations that stand in solidarity with their health, safety and security and continue to provide their services. And so as much as we are not going to interfere with their strike action, we want to serve notice that members of GLIPGOA should resist the temptation to stop those who have seen the blackmail and therefore not supportive of the strike from carrying on their legitimate business. The security agencies will deal ruthlessly with such groups and individuals who try to stop others. Well, we're joined on phone by the communications manager of the NPA, Anio Sabute. Well, we don't have him yet. We're trying to establish contact with them, but our checks reveal that filling stations that are likely to be affected by this strike are about 20% of all in the country, and these are usually in rural communities. So that's to say that rural dwellers are the ones who are likely to be affected by this strike. And we also know that GLIPGOA is doing this because they've accused the NPA and government for not furthering their concerns with regards to the whole recirculation model. We'll be bringing you more on this in subsequent bulletins.